Welcome to the RD2BE Podcast. Each week we sit down with a different registered dietitian nutritionist to showcase the diversity of opportunity in the dietetics profession. Our aim is to dismantle the notion that there is a traditional career path. I'm Carl Barnes, the registered dietitian behind the scenes of RD2BE.
And I am Jenna Warnock, the RD2BE host. Our RD guests share their stories, career paths, and advice to help students like us succeed in the profession. Welcome back to another week of the RD2BE Podcast. I'm your host, Jenna, and today we're super excited to kind of switch up the format for you guys whenever it comes to showcasing dietetic internship programs. And so this week we're going to be talking about the VA dietetic internship, specifically located in the Eastern Colorado healthcare system. And the program director is Christina Murphy, and she was wonderful in being flexible with the format that we chose in presenting her program. And what's great is this won't be like a normal open house dietetic internship program meeting that you might see some program directors do, because yes, we do give overview information about this dietetic internship, but what's great is Christine kind of wanted to share her own little tidbits of wisdom that we'll cover at the end of this episode. And so if you're listening to audio, that's perfectly fine, but we also have a visual component if you would rather switch to YouTube or the Spotify video option if you're more so a visual learner and just kind of following along to the audio. But so the first bit of the the first bit of this program is kind of just like an overview, just kind of seeing from a bird's eye view what the Eastern Colorado healthcare system's dietetic internship with the VA would kind of look like if you were kind of going onto their website. And so it's located in Aurora, Colorado, and it accepts a total of 8 interns, and it is an on-site program where you would be in Colorado for the program. And it participates only in spring match, so you have a strict February 15th deadline, and they do participate in DICUS, and there is no cost to attend. Of course, you do have certain application fees, especially if you do the graduate program alongside with it, but we'll go more in depth to that. And you get over 1,000 hours in supervised practice with the dietetic internship, and they offer 2 tracks, and both tracks get that same 1,000 plus supervised practice hours. And so the first track is the combined Masters in Human Nutrition, or like the MSDI, we'll use that terminology moving forward. And that one is a total of 18 months. It is completely online, and so you're able to be flexible with doing those work weeks while also taking those classes congruently. It is done through the University of Alabama, and it is 30 credit hours. The second track is the standalone track. This is if you already have a graduate degree, and it's 10 months. And again, just to specify again, you must have a graduate degree prior to the start date of the internship. Now, say for example, you're going through your graduate degree right now, and whenever you hit submit for the application to this program, it's okay if you're still in your graduate degree when you hit apply. It's just by the start date in August, you must have that master's degree in your name. Now, for the graduate degree, they don't specify that you need an MS in nutrition or anything nutrition related. They just more so focus on, again, just having that graduate degree accompanied before starting the standalone track. And we're going to dive deeper into each of these tracks, but this is just a little overview into the dietetic internship. And then kind of going more so into the admissions requirements and like overall information of if you're interested in the program and applying, kind of things to look out for to see if you are a good candidate for the program. And so both tracks do participate in spring match no matter what. And if you are applying to the MSDI component, it has a separate graduate school application due March 22nd. And you complete that on UAlabama's website. And what's super great about the this dietetic internship is they have all the links on their website of where you have to go depending on which track you're applying to, and they have super fleshed out all the timelines of things that you have to do. And for both tracks, because this is with the U.S. government, U.S. citizenship is required for both tracks, and a bachelor's degree plus a DPD verification statement is required. Now, there is a bunch of flexibility with ways that you can kind of get your DPD verification statement or get your bachelor's degree, but they just specify bachelor's degree, but then you need that DPD verification statement before applying. And then a background check, because again, this is a government this is part of like the government and being with the VA that is required, and an updated physical examination, which includes the COVID-19 vaccine. So the COVID-19 vaccine, as well as all like required vaccinations, will be necessary before starting the internship. And so they have this super awesome little graphic on their website about the things that they kind of look for, and kind of things that you can see if you align yourself with whenever looking at this specific VA dietetic internship to apply for. And so academically, they do look for a GPA, like, just kind of above a 3.0, and they do specify what GPA or above they're looking for on their website. Having good technical and academic writing skills, that can be in communicating with preceptors or just communicating with patients and being able to write those notes, and definitely in the clinical setting and, communicating with writing. Additional degrees, such as a bachelor's degree or having that master's degree component, and certifications kind of showing that you're able to, it's a little like preview before getting your RD credential, where like, for example, for that credential, you have to learn, study for a test, take the test and pass. Well, like say, for example, for a CPT certification, you have to learn the content to become a personal trainer. You have to take the CPT test, and then boom, you get certified to be a certified personal trainer. Now, you're not required to have certifications. You're not required to have degrees outside of that required bachelor's degree or that master's degree if you're doing the standalone, and you're not required to have a 4.0 GPA or anything. These are more so just like academically, if you find yourself being a strong academic, these are strong things that you can kind of lean on to, given if you do have a stronger academic side. And practically, kind of that more hands-on focus on prior to applying to the internship. And this is all talking about prior experience to the internship, not necessarily like what you'll learn. I mean, of course, you'll cultivate these skills during the internship, but this focuses on really good foundational things to have prior to the internship that will make you stand out. And so then kind of going back to that practical experience, paid or non-paid clinical, food service, customer service, or management experience. Now, this could, be a dietary aide in a hospital, volunteering in a hospital, working at a restaurant, being a manager in a restaurant, customer service in a restaurant, just kind of anything to deal with people, or even management, because yes, as a registered dietitian in food service, clinical, and community, things like that, we do typically manage or like have to have those leadership skills. And what's really great is the world is your oyster in terms of what practical experience you have and how it can help you with dietetic internship applications, because you don't have to check off the box of being a dietary aide to get accepted into an internship. You don't have to check off the box of owning a restaurant to get accepted into a dietetic internship. While that's an extreme response, but it kind of, this more so gives you a guide of like maybe checking in with yourself and seeing your experiences of like what might apply or how you can use your current experiences to prepare you for a dietetic internship like the Eastern Colorado healthcare system one. And then a really great thing that they highlight as well are those soft skills, because, we talked about practical skills, more so those hard skills, but soft skills that kind of do allude to, management, food service, clinical, things like that, is leadership, because with that management side, or teamwork with, again, the management side or customer service, a diverse perspective, meaning that you're able to know your own opinion while also hearing the other sides as well, which is really great for conflict resolution, understanding patients, and solving problems. Creativity and innovation. I mean, we've all seen this in our medical nutrition therapy classes or just like our coursework, where we are going to have complex patients or just complex problems regarding nutrition that we might need to find a new way to solve those problems. And then adaptability, this is just a little side note for me with all the dietetic internship directors that I've interviewed. Almost every, I'm not going to say every single one, but I'd say almost every single one has said that being flexible and adaptable are like one of the top traits that they look for in prospective dietetic interns, because you're changing rotations. This is a super fast-paced time for learning and for getting that hands-on experience. And you're going to have to be able to adapt or learn how to adapt to those different environments, those different people, and those different learning perspectives and objectives and all those things. And so I'm the type of person where it is super hard for me to be adaptable. But my piece of advice for this one, if you kind of like a schedule, you don't really like change that much, is do baby steps towards it instead of like feeling like you need to throw yourself into it in a sink or swim mentality, because it's okay if you have to take it slow before getting good at it, because again, like practice makes perfect in this regard for sure. And then finally, because this is a VA dietetic internship, and I've heard this from other VA dietetic internship directors as well, is whenever they say veteran preference, they more so mean that you have a preference for helping the veteran population. And so, the veteran population is primarily middle-aged men and women, and they typically have, past experiences on active duty, military, things like that, or maybe you yourself was a military dependent and you have experience being in a military environment, and that your goals align with the VA, Eastern Colorado Healthcare System Dietetic Internship. And what's great is under every single dietetic internship program, they have a mission and goals section. And so if you want to do a little self-check to see if you do align with this program or if this program is right for you, each dietetic internship program that you're looking at does have their mission and goals. And then you can see if they align with your own goals. Because again, this is just me taking what I've heard from other internship directors, is that if you find that this internship that you're super interested in doesn't actually align with your goals, they're totally okay with that. And they would much rather you apply to a program that does align with your goals better than just trying to force yourself to fit into theirs, because you won't grow as much, you won't take as much from it, and you won't enjoy it as much. And they want to have an intern that's eager to be in their program, not just to check off all the boxes. And so again, the last note of goals aligning with the VA Eastern Colorado Healthcare System Dietetic Internship, it's important to know whether or not the program is right for you. And so this is just kind of a good overview of what they're kind of looking for. And again, it might seem really broad, but that's honestly kind of the point, because it's not the goal of checking off specific metrics or specific like road marks to get to become an intern for this VA dietetic internship, but it's more so like, how can you use the experiences that you have, or kind of be on the lookout for future experiences that could align you to this program if your goals are personally aligned with it. And then so that was more so just kind of like the scope, broad overview of if you're interested in applying, you apply, you feel like your goals align, and you're wanting to look like, okay, what would it look like if I actually got in? And so this specific like curriculum and internship outline is the first track we're going to go over, is the combined MSDI. Now, what's super great about this program, honestly, is the affordability, because even for the MSDI component, of course, there are fees and outside of tuition, or, certain rates and things like that. But the overall tuition for the master's degree is approximately $13,200. And again, the dietetic internship itself has no tuition. And so regarding educational costs, that's what you're looking at. Now, because of, we've all had to go to school, so we know that there's other fees and rates. And what's great is on UAlabama's website and this dietetic internship program's website is that they flush out really well what expenses you can kind of expect and the average cost that it might take. And also one important note is that out-of-state tuition for UAlabama is completely waived. So it doesn't matter where you're coming from, you're going to pay the same amount of tuition whether or not you're an Alabama resident or not. And on this dietetic internship program's website, they have a super great flushed out kind of layout of what courses you'll take and when during the program. And so kind of doing a little overview walkthrough for the MSDI program is you get, you apply in February, you figure out if you're accepted or not in April, and then you'll start your graduate degree courses in that June, early August timeframe for the summer session with your graduate degree coursework. And you're going to take 2 courses. And then in the fall, and then in the fall and spring, you take graduate coursework alongside with your clinical and management rotations. And then the next summer, you take your, more college coursework, and then you finish in August, like at the end of December. And so that's kind of where the 18 months come from. So it's a little sandwich, like you start your graduate degree coursework first, do your clinical rotations and management rotations in the middle, and then you top it off with graduate coursework and your capstone project. And then you get your verification statement at the end. And the coursework involves, biostatistics, research methods, advanced nutrition counseling, advanced vitamin and mineral metabolism, metabolism of energy nutrients, advanced clinical nutrition, nutrition support of the critically ill, clinical nutrition management, integrated food systems management, and advanced food service systems management. And the bold and the asterisk courses is the clinical nutrition management and the advanced food service management, because they're integrated with the supervised practice. So what's great is the coursework that you take is aligned with the rotations that you're doing to help reinforce and to help learn that material, both in like the theoretical but also hands-on concepts, so that it doesn't necessarily feel like an online course in that regard, because you're applying what you're learning, quote unquote, in the classroom, but more so like in those rotations with your preceptors. And then kind of going into, that was a bird's eye view more so on the curriculum, like coursework, graduate coursework perspective. And so the next thing we're going to discuss is like the internship rotations itself, like that supervised practice, what makes the dietetic internship a dietetic internship. Now, before kind of, fleshing it out, it is the exact same whether you're doing the MSDI or the standalone track. And so both begin in August, like the supervised practice component begins in August, and you work, depending on your track, you work 24 to 32 hours a week, because they want to give you time to do that coursework or that graduate coursework, or to kind of learn and do that dietetic internship curriculum coursework if you're doing the standalone. And the first week is orientation. And then after that, there's 19 weeks straight of clinical nutrition, which is, they just want to have you soak up as much clinical information as humanly possible. Also, because the veteran population, they have a whole bunch of unique medical nutrition therapy kind of things that you can learn given the different diseases that veterans typically have due to their service. And then you have 11 weeks of food service management, particularly, in a hospital setting. And then you have 8 weeks of community nutrition, and then finally 2 weeks of staff relief. And so staff relief is when, that's like the final part of the program where, you've soaked up all this information, you've applied what you're learning in that quote unquote classroom setting. And staff relief is when you literally fill the role of a dietitian. So for 2 weeks, you are what your preceptor does. And I think what makes the VA dietetic internships in general so unique is that they are one of the only dietetic internships that I've seen that consistently offer staff relief, in the sense of they top off the program with you being a dietitian. And I think that's a great way to just solidify that you are prepared to be a dietitian, because with imposter syndrome and things like that, I feel like there are some dietetic interns that they graduate from their program and they still don't feel ready to be a dietitian. But with VA dietetic internships, they're like, we know you're ready because you were a dietitian, and so I think that's just a great way to top off the track. And then what's really great about the both internship rotations is that you're off for all federal holidays, and you get 2 weeks off during Christmas and New Year's, which is really great. And then now, because we always like to talk about this with dietetic internships, is there are certain expenses to keep in mind for sure. Now, there are tuition and fees for that MSDI track. We discussed the tuition, but again, you have those fees, you have the online cost component, books and things like that. And because you're moving to Colorado or you're staying in Colorado, you have to account for housing, food, gas, and other living expenses like that for a year. And then they require liability and health insurance. And again, that's dependent on each person. You also have to provide parking and transportation, and they highly recommend having a reliable car. And loans are not offered through the dietetic internship program. So in terms of academic loans or things like that, that is on a case-by-case basis and has to be reviewed based on your individual situation. And this is actually a post-edit note after speaking with the program director. Actually, this past Friday, she updated me to let me know that they have been approved for a stipend beginning the 2024-2025 cycle, which is incredibly exciting. Because they just got approved like a couple days ago, they don't have an amount disclosed just yet, but given that they just got approved, you can see the stipend amount probably being added to the website in the coming months from this recording. And so I just wanted to put that out there, because for those listening to this recording in 2023, given that you guys would be applying to that 2024-2025 cycle, you guys would be eligible and receive that stipend. And so that's just a little note to have for the rest of the video, that I might have made a note that they don't have a stipend, but if you hear that throughout the video. But I just wanted to confirm, after coordinating with the director, that they will have a stipend beginning in 2024, which is incredibly exciting. And so after, we've kind of walked through a lot of like the overview of the program, the different curriculum, what you can expect in the dietetic internship supervised practice component. We do want to cover some common misconceptions and just insight into the program, especially since it is a VA dietetic internship. And so the first thing, and I've heard this from countless VA dietetic internship directors, is that they are not more or less competitive than other dietetic internship programs. What typically happens from what dietetic internship VA specific directors have seen is that because they have a quote unquote smaller class size and because they offer a stipend, people pre-assume that they won't be able to get in if they apply, so they just don't apply anyways. But then there have been some VA dietetic internship directors that don't fill up enough spots because they don't have enough applicants. And so I've heard from Christine, I've heard from other VA dietetic internship directors to just apply if you really, really want to get in, because there is a good chance that you will, especially if your goals align with the program. And so again, just if you're genuinely interested, apply. Like, it literally doesn't hurt. And on all the rotations, this is kind of going more so into like when you're doing the supervised practice rotations, is you're supplied with a touch and go office space during all the rotations. So you get a computer, you get a printer, you get desk, chair, and you also get access to break room. So it is like you are working there, which is great. And again, just kind of to double note that reliable transportation is required, since you'll be traveling to the hospital or to offsite locations for other rotations and things like that. And one nice little positive note of being with the VA for your dietetic internship is that a lot of graduated interns likely place a job within the VA after the completion of their program. And so what's great is the VA if you do a dietetic internship with the VA, is that it's like a no pressure kind of test run to see if you would want to work for the VA, or to see how you like working in that setting. And then if you do really like the program and they really like you, more times than not, you could get a job placement with them afterwards, which is great. And then the last thing that we like to end on, and this is to just kind of allow you guys to get to know the program director instead of me, just kind of running through what is on their website. And, just instead of me just listing off things that are on their website, we do want to provide that nice little bow on top of you guys still getting to know the director. And so Christina Murphy, she is a wonderful, she's so sweet, so nice, and so excited about this new VA dietetic internship program. And she wanted to share some just words of wisdom or pieces of advice for you guys listening in or maybe interested in applying to a VA dietetic internship program. And so the first question I asked her was, how have your past experiences prepared you for your current position as program director and providing support to each student? And Christine replies with, I think having the opportunity to work as a clinical dietitian for almost 15 years before taking this job has prepared me well for this position. I've had the opportunity to work in the field of nutrition and dietetics in multiple different roles. I think that as program director, your students/interns are looking to you as someone that has experience and knowledge in the profession that they are pursuing. They want to be able to ask you questions about the workforce and different job opportunities that they think they could have once they become dietitians themselves. I think a strong program director is someone that can help bridge the gap between education and professional practice, and that can usually happen best if the director has had the opportunity to work in the field themselves. And so even with this first question, Christine, she's not only knowledgeable about the theoretical aspects of becoming a dietitian, but she has practiced a robust amount as a dietitian herself. And so she can guide you through the learning process, but also she has that hands-on knowledge of knowing where you could go depending on your goals after the program, or what you can learn hands-on during the program, which is great. And then the second question that I asked her, particularly relating to the VA, is what benefits have you seen firsthand with dietitians working for the VA? And then Christine responds with, the VA offers dietitians the opportunity to expand their knowledge and practice at the top of their scope of practice. The VA offers opportunities for both educational and career advancement that allows dietitians to significantly improve and enhance their skills and abilities in the field of nutrition and dietetics. The VA also offers a collaborative environment for dietitians to work with a multidisciplinary team of healthcare providers. Working with many other specialty areas and services in healthcare also enhances your scope of knowledge and skill set, and can teach you how to communicate and collaborate effectively with other medical providers. And so with the VA, not only are you just working with other dietitians in your little office in a hospital, but you're also communicating with those speech language pathologists, the physicians, the physical therapists. The VA, because each patient is incredibly complex, they need a complex group of people to help them progress towards recovery. And with the VA, they don't shy away with dietitians, and they allow them to practice at the highest scope of their practice to help these patients, which is really great. And it teaches you about teamwork, and you learn more about different professions, and it really does just foster the maximum growth and development that you can get as a dietitian in the VA. And then the last question, again, is kind of targeted towards you guys. And if you're interested in applying to the program, I asked her what advice or words of wisdom would you give them? And she said, first, as I've said before, I'd say definitely apply. There is a misperception that VA DI programs are not worth applying for because they are too competitive. I feel strongly that if you are interested in a VA dietetic internship program experience, you should throw your name in the ring and just go for it. I would also encourage them to learn about all the VA dietetic internship programs, because they each offer something unique and different that may end up being a better fit for them. And this is just a note that I've heard from other dietetic internship programs, is some have different concentrations, like for example, in ambulatory care, medical nutrition therapy, community research, things like that. And so there's a comprehensive list of all the internship programs, and you can kind of do a deep dive into what their concentrations are or what they focus on in the rotations to see what works for you. And then to finish what Christine has said, she said there are virtual and in-person open houses in the fall for each program that I would encourage a student to attend. Also, don't hesitate to reach out to a DI director and ask questions. This could help strengthen and guide your application packet to lead to a greater opportunity for an interview and selection to the program. And the last note she kind of focuses on is make yourself known as, a student and not just a name on a piece of paper applying to the program. And again, on the VA Dietetic Internship website, they have a comprehensive list that'll be coming out in this fall about when all of the open houses will be. And again, we have Christine's email in this episode. We'll have it in the show notes. We also have it on screen, and I'll also say it at the end of the recording. But just if you know that this is a program that you want to apply to, just go for it. And don't feel like it's too competitive or that you're not enough or that you're not prepared. You literally don't know until you apply. And even with hearing from the program directors themselves, they want you to apply as much as you want to apply. And so I think that's just a great thing to end on, especially with Christine's words. And the last thing to note is, again, kind of alluding to what she mentioned with the fall open house information, is if you go to www.dieteticinternship.va.gov, that gives you like the comprehensive list of when they do release the internship open house dates. Most of them are virtual now, which is great. So you can literally learn not just about the Eastern Colorado VA dietetic internship, but the countless other VA dietetic internships that are offered across the country. And so thank you guys so much for tuning in. We were super excited to provide a fun, new, and exciting format for showcasing dietetic internships. Christine Murphy is the program director. And if you're interested in applying, feel free to email her at christine.murphy5@va.gov or visit their website. And we will have that in the show notes as well. And again, thank you guys so much for tuning in and learning about the VA Eastern Colorado Healthcare System Dietetic Internship.